Recording now.
Up, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go! Hello, and welcome to Star Trek Reliant, the podcast where we do things in the Star Trek online universe and some miscellaneous stuff from the old Foundry system incorporated into Star Trek Adventures. I am your DM, Duncan Idaho, and tonight we've got our usual cast of characters, starting with Security Officer Cholrog.
I need guns. Lots of guns.
You've got our Scientist Out of Time, DB Wells.
Going forward, I might change how I talk when I'm talking as John Doe, because I didn't really think about that until my characters were in the same room. So, yeah.
Go wrong with the silly accent. Doesn't matter what it is. The sillier the better. We've got our xenobiologist, xenoanthropologist, Garal.
Hello.
On Officer Karjun Rotting.
Who is driving? Oh God, I'm driving. Oh, what?
You have XO and CMO, Eli O'Connor.
You shouldn't be driving on that heavy medication.
And we got Chief Engineer Rick Tier.
Things happen, I make things happen even more so.
Excellent, excellent. So, let us kick off tonight with our Return to the Trident Adventure series. So, principally, we're going to look at the first camp set up by the Reliant crew. As we mentioned last episode, it has grown considerably since it was first established, starting off as a recon base, and now has effectively become a small outpost with pretty good locally built defensive fortifications and a thriving trade economy thanks to basically being on a pretty good route between Sariat Run and other nearby villages.
And let us not forget the masterful hand of Randolph P. Checkers, Esquire.
Randolph P. Checkers, Esquire. You are taking a look at the recent inventory. You've had a caravan come through of fairly large vehicles, including some bipedal ones, which were of particular interest. And you're just going through to make sure that effectively all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted on the recent contracts. You're surveying the camp, taking a walk around, and yeah, you've got a pretty good operation going here. Even Sabatu is helping out and planting a little bit of a garden.
All right, let's see the cell.
Oh, what was that?
I said, all right, let's see how things are coming along, yeah.
Yeah, things are coming along good. You've got a tidy profit that you're able to distribute pretty well. You're also collecting a lot of good anthropological information from working out the various greetings, salutations, and just local traveler stories. You've got a pretty good idea of what's dangerous in the area. Just a few ferals, few larger predatory life forms, but they're more omnivorous than hypercarnivores. As you take a look around, though, it's like, I don't remember the plants being that tall in that part of the camp.
Or were they?
A few hours ago.
Doesn't hurt to go take a look. I might have added on to it when I wasn't paying attention.
I was about to say we might have beamed down Kudzu.
You find nearby Sabatu in a specially modified pair of denim overalls and a Starfleet branded t-shirt, just working with her hands directly in the soil by the very large green and twirling plants.
Hey, what's that? He points to it.
Sabata looks over and says, well, I think it's called Tariot. It's a very edible local plant variety. I'm not quite sure what it is. Take a bite?
Why is it that big?
Grows big. I planted it just, let's see, this morning, and yeah, everything's coming together really well. I mean, nothing. We were having a little bit of trouble yesterday, but ever since I've taken over this little patch from Nothriasu, it's going pretty good.
Make it grow bigger. He narrows his eyes behind his glasses.
Bada salutes and her tail wags and says, "Aye, aye. Tell you, Captain. Like, are you captain of the settlement, or is there another word?"
Quartermaster. I am quartermaster.
Yes. Aye, quartermaster. And she looks back, then she starts looking over in kind of a general empty area, just kind of blinking for a few minutes.
Checkers backs off and rubs his hands together. I can taste those golden eggs soon. That goose will be mine.
Voice quietly just sort of speaks from behind Sabatu and into her ear. My, but you do have a talent, don't you?
And I'm just moving dirt around. It just kind of is what I want.
So it does. Don't you think that that's a little unusual? Could be a helpful thing around here.
Maybe I'm just good at it.
Maybe. But are you so content to sit passively by? I think that you might have a real effect on what's going on around here.
Maybe. And Checkers can hear, like, Sabatu's turned back to her garden. And Checkers can hear Sabatu's side of the conversation.
No phones. Who are you talking to?
Oh, good question. The plants? I'm reassuring the plants.
Yeah, but you're having a full conversation. Plants don't talk back. Okay, hold on a minute. What do the plants tell you? Are they trying to tell you the golden goose is going to be yours? Because no, it's going to be mine. I might not be Jack, but I'm going up that beanstalk when it's grown.
Well, I mean, I think it's just, they're generally just encouraging me.
Plants aren't encouraging.
What if these plants are, thinking plants? I don't know if you should eat them.
If they're thinking plants, then, they shouldn't be growing here. This is food plants only. We can't trade thinking plants.
Alright, I will run tests.
I must say, he is quite amusing. Anyway,
Product nods to the voice.
I encourage you to take a more active role, if for no other reason than entertainment value. I will speak to you again. Fare thee well. And she no longer has the sensation of being watched.
And with that, we cut back to the USS Reliant.
Meanwhile, back on the ship.
Indeed. Meanwhile, back on the ship, Eli has just gotten the notification from Kieran that there's another AI on board.
Kieran just kind of stares out from the screen and says, "For the moment, I am content to watch only. This, whatever it is, isn't really doing anything except kind of looking around. I could attempt to force it out, but an AI battle within the ship's systems could have terrible effects upon the ship. So long as it's not being overtly hostile, I suggest that we just wait."
What do you mean, wait?
I mean, wait and see what it does.
Oh, okay, the way you sort of inflected the wait, it made me feel like you're like, wait, something is going on, Just the way you inflect. Okay, anyway. I was maybe just ask it to leave, don't, make it, but you could ask it at least what it's doing.
Aye, then you wish me to attempt to make contact with the entity.
Yep, that's what we do here.
All right, I am not technically part of the crew, but I will assist how I am able. This may take some time. I will return when I have any information.
All right, just scream into my pad again, I guess.
Kieran's face just kind of disappears off the, monitor, and all is quiet within Eli's office.
All right. Eli checks his pad before going back out. Oh, Checkers is sending me pictures of geese. Or why? Heads back out to see Kara and Graves.
Having had a moment to consider it, you do realize that Kara looks a little paler than the last time you remember seeing her on the ship. It also looks like her hair is a bit lighter in color.
Graves has taken the opportunity to shave and is now sporting a good bit of chin stubble.
Kara looks over at him. You know, if you're shaving, you could get that too.
Trying a new look.
All right. So Kara, you weren't playing with hair dye down there, were you?
She gives him a look at the phrasing and simply says, very dangerously and very coldly, "What do you mean?"
Here, he says, handing her a hand mirror. Your hair's changing, and you're also much paler. Trust me, I should know. I am pale as fucking snow.
Kara looks at the mirror. Oh, you mean down on the planet. Okay, when you said where if I was trying hair dye down there, you know what, never mind.
That's not...
Graves pinches the bridge of his nose. He says, Alright, so... Yeah, so, anyway, yeah, Kara, your physical appearance seems to be changing a bit, and it's probably associated with the other changes going on with your body.
Once again, I am not a fan of not being consulted in this. I suggest we find the people responsible. She hands the mirror back to Eli.
We'll give them a thorough ass kicking, don't worry.
Yeah, sounds good. So, that probably involves us heading back.
About that, I don't think that's the best course of action. Listen, look at you right now. I don't think it'd be wise to have you down there because, I have not been told otherwise right now, so...
There's a
DM. Just a little DM note. We do want them to get back to the planet.
I know, but...
There's a ding from Eli's pad.
Alright, hey, hold on a second.
There's a simple text message that simply reads, "The AI was detected when Captain Graves moved aboard the ship. If he were to leave the ship, perhaps the AI presence would also leave."
Huh. That's just a theory, though.
Kara looks over at him. What's a theory?
Okay, so, here, I need to whisper this to you. Graves, go over, sit in that corner over there.
Graves goes over to the corner.
Doctor's order, okay. So, hey, yeah, I think, an AI came on board with Graves. I think there's an AI in Graves.
Yeah, okay, we need to not have him on the ship, then.
I mean, I could just set up a Faraday cage, that would be funny.
Yeah, assuming a Faraday cage can deal with whatever it is. We're dealing with something about as advanced as Borg tech. Whatever the hell that thing was, it contained nanites. I don't think a simple Faraday cage will stop it if it wants to get out.
Stop the signals, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I guess we're supposed to keep him with us then, or I don't think exile looks too good on Graves.
If we keep him with us, doesn't that mean you can keep an eye on him real easy?
You'd hope so, but that also means that whatever could help us or hinder us in any way it wants.
Yeah, well, what else is new?
Rick T comes in holding the injector. Well, we've confirmed that this is an injector. Whatever's in Graves was injected by him, by the Conclave.
So we find weird Conclave device on Trident. This place just does not stop getting weirder.
I wonder if it's all connected to this, world tech.
Good question. So, Captain, what are your thoughts on our next best move?
Graves turns over and
Not you!
I am the captain now.
Oh, sorry.
Alright, right now I guess we go back down. We gotta find a way to stall what's happening to you, though.
Well, she shrugs. Best to just find the folks in charge, I guess.
That could take who knows how long, and you might be entirely robotic by then. At least finding a way to stall it would be good.
I don't know. I think the people in charge are actively looking for us.
So, are you saying we should get caught?
More or less.
Alright, you know what? Is this one of those situations where one of us should have a lot of explosives on them?
Preferably all of us.
Alright, yeah, no, I think we can do that. I have just the thing. Pattern enhancers. We can store as much shit as we need, and we can make them look like just, something they won't expect.
So long as there's a button I can press where it just starts to vomit out a stream of guns, I'm happy.
We can do that.
I've got some pattern buffers that I can configure.
Well, yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Now I just need to find something to put out.
A lot of photon grenades. That's my biggest suggestion.
Noted.
I'm already carrying my pistol and my rifle, so I'm just probably going to fill it with photon grenades, maybe some plastic explosive.
Ah, yes. Serious Putty. The cousin of Silly Putty.
Why does that sound like a checkers joke?
Are we sure we want to blow this thing up, whatever it is? It is...
No. But wouldn't you rather have the option?
Yeah, just because we bring something doesn't mean we're committing to using it.
I suppose you're right.
It's just a necessary precaution.
Well, I mean, sounds like a lot of necessary precaution.
Hey, Graves! You want to go have some fun out on a planet? Blow something up?
Graves turns around and he smirks slightly uncharacteristically and says, "Heck yeah."
Yeah, he's not normal, but I'm liking the new him.
Yeah, it'd be wise to keep him out of command until we can figure out, all this, though, so... I think Ged signed off on it already.
Graves shrugs. Yeah, makes sense. We've been through it before, too, once, with Setsa over there giving me a little bit of an injection. And Setsa currently is effectively just a mound of blankets on one of the biobits.
Sir, maybe you should stop injecting strange nanites.
As your doctor,
I didn't do it myself
highly agree.
either time.
Still, stop putting yourself in situations where you're getting injected with weird stuff. That's my highest medical recommendation for you, sir.
Kara suddenly smiles
noted,
and says,
but...
Oh yeah, I just remembered something regarding how we could maybe see about getting quote-unquote caught. And she pulls a note out of her pocket, which is the note that First Mate Ska gave her Ska gave John before, and hands that to Eli. There's a certain Captain Thel who'd like to talk with us.
Brilliant way of getting captured. Pirates. We might have to inform the others to play cool.
Kara shrugs. Well, it looks like they're not ready to start shooting yet, so...
We'll be ready to shoot either way. Operation Trojan Horse is going to be a go.
And out of character question. Back a while ago, I do remember something about there being someone who wants to return Trident back to, the rest of reality. Is this that captain, or is that someone else?
No, that's the Harvesters. You haven't met them yet, but they're coming soon.
Okay.
The general scuttlebutt around various places have been that the Harvesters are seeking to wrest control of Trident, supposedly to return it to reality. A lot of people have about as much faith in that as, they do in most incredible claims.
The pirates may be associated with the Harvesters, though.
Well, you are in charge now, Captain. I can get some pattern buffers set up and refill with enhanced by localized pattern enhancements so that we can actually, deploy the things in Trident's unusual radiation.
I mean, having it on pattern buffers on us, like hazard teams used to do. Hazard teams still do that.
You have encountered issues with the transporter, but I will say that with pattern buffers, it's a lot easier to compensate. So with Rick's modifications, you will be able to use them freely.
Right, so I'm going to go find a gun. Preferably a very large gun that goes boom.
Oh, your arms might be perfect for this, but we found some coil guns on a ship in orbit.
I like this idea. I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm going to go see about that. Chorog probably has them stored in his quarters. Goodbye. And she walks out of med bay with a smile on her face.
Well, at least she's in good spirits. Keeps my spirits up.
We also got some in the engineering lab.
I think she's just straight up going to just break into Chorog's quarters. It's fine. It's fine. Chorog's down on the planet still, right?
No, Chorog's up. Or is he?
Is he? Wasn't he in command of the ground group?
He is, yes.
Yeah, Chorog was in command of the ground group. I stayed on the planet.
Okay. All I remember was that Bosho and Pim were down there. In that case, Kara, as she walks down the hallway, has a quick conversation with Chorog. Chorog, I hear you have some railguns.
This would be on comms.
Yes.
Chorog taps his communicator, kind of shifts his eyes to the left, shifts his eyes right. Who told you?
Captain O'Connor?
Blabbermouth.
Look, I only want one, okay?
All right, you go in my quarters. You'll find a box in the corner marked medical supplies. It's in there.
Okay. Since I'm up here, do you want me to bring you anything else?
There's another box in there with a bunch of, you'll see it has odds and ends of pulse rifle parts, disruptor induction coils, all kinds of other just weapon odds and ends. Bring that. I want you to barter.
You got it. And the camera just cuts away from her as she continues down the hall.
Before we head back down, I almost forgot. Eli's going to check on Erden.
You know, I'm just going to go ahead and say out of character, I was wondering if anybody would forget about him, but since it hasn't happened...
He's an important patient.
Erden at this point has basically started to come around and is just kind of blinking and just kind of mumbling to himself. He just quietly says, I hurt in places where I didn't know there were muscles.
Yeah, that'll happen, buddy. You almost died.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot. I remember I got pulled off the cargo, and then I kind of just remember waking up here. I guess falling out of a car really hurts.
Yeah, bud. It definitely wasn't you going Hulk mode.
Uh-oh. Did I do something bad?
No, you did something very good. Bad for your health, but very good for the rest of us. Yeah, it would have been a heroic sacrifice had I not, stopped you from sacrificing yourself.
Oh, well, I really appreciate that. When we get mad, it's not a good thing.
Yeah,
sometimes you live through it.
You had so many hormones in you, it was about to kill you, but don't worry, I fixed it.
Well, I really appreciate that. I don't think I would have liked dying.
It's not fun. Trust me.
Erden just slowly blinks all four eyes at Eli at that and doesn't say any more.
But hey, I'm working on something. You might be able to replicate it. Well, not replicate like up here, but you might be able to use the same stuff. It should stabilize anybody that goes into one of these.
Gosh, that'd be really good. Probably would cut down on violent incidents.
Yeah, I would hope so. It'd be like using an EpiPen. You don't know what it'd be the opposite of an EpiPen now that I think about it.
Erden just kind of nods. Well, if you're going back down, because I think I must be on your ship again, please tell Pim that I'm not dead, okay?
I'll be sure to tell Pim you're not dead. You gonna be staying up here to rest?
Yeah, I'm not much of a fighter anyway, and it seems like you guys keep getting into trouble. Sorry.
You want some soup and a blanket?
No, I'm good. I think I'm just gonna sleep a bit.
Okay, if you need anything, Ged right here will give you whatever you need, and I'm sure afterwards we can get you some quarters to sleep in so you don't have to bum it in medbay.
Are you volunteering me again?
Yes, it's your job.
Look, I know my job, and I know when I'm being voluntold. And being voluntold is not part of my job.
I mean, if you want, you could always change the bedpans over there. That is also part of your job.
Why do we have people using bedpans? He goes over actually to investigate what the hell is going on.
I can't believe he fell for that. Oldest trick in the book. What is this, the Dark Ages?
Time cut to 30 minutes from now. Ged looks over. Hey, there's nothing over here! Back to the present.
Alright, well, like I said, if you need anything, just ask him. He might complain about it, but he's a big softie. Complaining and arguing is just their pastime, you know? It's Tellarites for you. Anyway, I'm go get a lot of explosives now.
There's just a soft snore from Urton.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah. Everyone else is gone now.
Graves looks over. I'm still here.
You're still in the corner.
All right.
Okay, you can come out of the corner now. I'm done telling Kara what I need to tell her anyway.
Yes, Captain. Graves slinks over.
Oh, that's... Say that again, please.
Yes, Captain.
Hearing it from you, that's what really cements it.
All right. Well,
I'll take good
yeah.
I'll take good care of our ship.
All right, so everything's good to get back down there?
Yeah, just, take a pattern enhancer, get whatever you want in there, like, literally whatever you want. I'm gonna take the restrictions off some of the replicators for this.
All right, yeah, well, I got a few ideas.
Ged comes back over. So are you taking that with you? And he jerks a thumb over to the pile of blankets that has an Ibby underneath it somewhere.
I suppose. I don't think I can fit her in a pattern buffer, can I?
I mean, technically, yes.
I don't know. I heard it happen to that engineer, Scotty. Heard he came back a little weird, too.
Well, that's because he was in there a couple hundred years. Well, over 100, not a couple hundred.
Yeah, best not risk it for Jibby. She's weird enough as it is.
No, but she's a fun weird.
I heard that.
I'm glad, because you are a fun weird. You brighten our days.
No, you're good. I'm out of grapes.
Did she say she's going to add crepes? That's what it sounded like.
She said she's mad at Graves.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard crepes. Sorry.
You should probably go have lunch.
Yeah, I haven't eaten in a while, like a day or two.
Yeah, let's go have some crepes.
Alright, yeah. Crepes, then explosives.
And with that, the group goes off to get crepes and then explosives. And before long, everyone's been reassembled in the hangar bay. The crew is also, the away team down on Trident has also had the opportunity to radio up and basically communicate if they need anything else brought down with them in terms of supplies, weaponry. Take your pick.
Kara is standing next to the shuttle, wielding a rifle not as big as she is, but still very large, and she's back in her uniform. She also has a box of something.
Who's next?
Rick has all the pattern buffers. They're sort of like smaller miniature ones, so they can't really hold a lot because, you know, they're miniaturized version of pattern buffers that go in, so this is not anywhere near the storage capacity that they would normally have on a ship or on a thing, but there's a fair amount of them, and they're all loaded with explosives.
Yes, Stevie, you built the thing.
You narrate.
Okay, so, Daniel shows up looking pretty much the same as he did before. He's got his suit back on. But if you look closely, there all that's really changed is that there's something different about one of his gloves on his suit. It's just got some little emitter-looking things on the fingertips and palm.
Kara just watches him for a minute and just says, "Would I put on an environment suit too?"
What have you got on your arm? On your hand?
Daniel just looks out down at the glove and says, "Oh, this. So do you remember that big box of gauntlet glove things that we got from that I brought back from the Usual ship?"
Yeah.
Well, I was doing some suit maintenance while we were up here, and I thought I might as well, experiment a little. Combined a couple things together, took a little bit from from one of those, and he gestures to the big cannon uh, that I'm sorry, I'm sorry, out of character. My brain can never keep who's Kara and who's Setsa straight.
Kara is Jarlin's character. Setsa is my character.
Setsa is the scientist who is very bubbly. Kara is the navigations person who likes to punch things.
Is Kara the one with all the robot parts?
Yes.
Okay. Daniel gestures over to Kara when he mentions the cannon thing, and came up with this. Most of it's on the inside, but should let me, push, pull things in general. Just kind of wiggles his fingers for emphasis.
It's quite some initiative.
I haven't really had enough time to properly test it, but it's I'm 85% confident it works how I intend it to.
Such as the engineer's life, testing is always going to be the most dangerous part. So just be careful if there's any kind of overload. I'm not sure what can be done since it's on your hand, but we'll think of something.
If all else fails, Eli can probably clone him a new arm.
Eli is not there yet.
That doesn't stop her from saying this.
Graves is hanging out. He has equipped himself with a white t-shirt, black combat trousers, some boots, and a slick black jacket. He also has a pair of round black sunglasses. And he's got a small tan duffel bag slung over his diagonally across his chest, and a small little pattern buffer at his belt. He's just chilling. Oh,
Damn it.
there's a good picture right now in the chat of
It's just small face Morpheus.
small face Morpheus looking like a potato with very small black sunglasses. So very good. The image is complete.
It's very, very cursed as well.
Yes, very much so.
Morpheus.
So yeah, Setsu then arrives. She's got a kind of a white exploration sweater, white pleated skirt, long socks, some nice boots, and a tan jacket. She's also got pretty good backpack with a Starfleet chevron on the back, and she's also got two pattern buffers on her belt.
Kara just looks around between all the people present and says, I try real hard to wear the standard uniform, but with you folks, I'm not even sure what it is anymore.
That's a way mission.
Oh, sorry.
Graves says, it's an away mission with a new culture. I've got a uniform packed up here, but yeah, for right now, I'm just wearing this.
Eli comes up with his first contact uniform, because it's the best uniform, but he's wearing command red under it instead of the usual medical blue. He has the pattern enhancer, in his belt. Hold on a second. I'm posting a picture of the hazard team thing, and it shows the transporter buffer, and it's actually in the belt, as a strip in the belt. His rifle and pistol are in there, along with all the other stuff.
Kara nods, and she ends up putting her Yizzle rifle away into her pattern buffer, and she just kind of looks over and says, okay, so we're going to go down there and try to set up a meeting with Nithel, I guess?
Yep. Also, Eli pulls a Desert Eagle from the back of his pants. I have this. I'm not going to use it. It's just there to be obnoxious, so they don't suspect anything.
You're right, I do find it obnoxious.
Me too. That's why I have it. Would you like one? I have two.
No, thank you.
Is that an original, or did the ship make it?
It's replicated. Don't worry. My dad might have an original, but
Okay, I was gonna say that. I mean, I've heard of fine craftsmanship, but if one survived this long, then that's something else.
You want one?
I was about to say, Daniel, you do know that Checkers has a Mosin Nagant from the World War II, right?
Wait, what?
Checkers has a World War II Mosin Nagant.
Daniel's just quiet for a couple seconds. You know what? I'm not even surprised when it comes to that guy.
I mean, I have a single action army revolver. I'm not wearing it because, these are meant to be confiscated. I suspect a pirate's going to try to disarm us, so having these is going to subtract from, my knife shoes and stuff like that. I think they won't know.
Daniel just mutters something about time machines.
What about what? Okay. So, you want a Desert Eagle or no?
No. I don't really carry lethal weapons.
Again, it's just to be taken. We get you 1911, 3 world wars.
Right. I'm gonna go get in the shuttle. And Kara just turns and goes and gets in the shuttle.
That's trots after Kara, and basically takes a seat next to her and pulls Graves on the other side, so she is smooshed by the two.
Let's go. Eli gets into the shuttle.
Rick takes the support co-pilot position to just keep an eye on ship operations, this engineering status of the shuttle.
And Moo half guides, half pulls Daniel into the shuttle.
Daniel obliges.
Moo has been in the shuttle the entire time.
Kara looks around. Does it feel like we're missing anyone?
Let me see. We got Kara, Rick, Tier, Setsa, Graves. Let me see. I know that Grimnir and Waitley are both down at the camp with Checkers, so it's not them.
Kara looks around. Where's Grawl?
Oh shit. I think he's still having crepes. Hold on.
Smash cut to 10 forward or Club 42. Small dinosaur. Big plate of crepes.
Eli taps the comm badge. O'Connor to Grawl, where are you?
Enjoying the grapes.
Grapes? No, we were going to have crepes.
I thought you said grapes. I'm in the hydroponics.
No, we were having crepes in 10 forward. You could have grapes in your crepes, but hey, listen, it's too late. Crepes time is over. It's time to head back down to the planet. You want 100 pounds of C4 in a Desert Eagle?
No.
Okay, I replicated 2 for no reason then. Well, Chorog's
we got some room for
Chorog's gonna like it.
That's reserved for the shuttle at the very least.
I was about to say, Kara's voice can be heard distantly in the background of O'Connor's comm badge. You have 2 hands!
Yeah, but listen, I don't want to fire one of these, but still.
I mean, I could have one, I guess. That's not something I really particularly want to. But
I'll see what Chorog thinks about the Desert Eagle. I think it's just gaudy. But okay, anyway, Grawl, you need to get here. We're heading down. Bring weapons. We got pattern enhancers to hide them.
Alright, I'll also bring a bunch of grapes. Does anyone want any more grapes?
Are they the ones that taste like cotton candy?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take some, yeah.
I'll take some.
Grawl heads down with with a small wagon full of grapes.
Do you have those apples that taste like grape as well?
We can grab some.
Okay, grab like one of those for me. Out of character? I haven't seen those in years. What happened to those?
No idea. I actually haven't had those before. Didn't know they existed.
Yeah, I was about to say, I have never heard of these things. I only know of fruits that taste like themselves, not like other fruits. Once everyone is back on board the shuttle, Kara simply just closes the door and says, "All right, let's go down and find us a pirate." I mean, other than Chorog.
Who is flying the shuttle?
Kara.
Okay. And, let's just go ahead and give us a con control roll.
Sorry, I had to put a lot of stuff in there. So I have 4 successes.
So you've got 2 momentum built up now, and Kara's able to zip right back down to the planet, glide smoothly into the regular flow of traffic around Haven, and pick out a prime landing pad right next to The vehicle pad, where you have the Argos waiting for you and ready for pickup.
Well, it's nice to know that the new arms haven't dulled my talent any.
Alright, let's get this door open. I have to ask Chorog.
Alright.
The door pops open, and you are able to exit the shuttle to go see Chorog.
Eli takes one of the extra pattern enhancers. Chorog, I got 2 things for you.
What's that?
Okay, he holds out the pattern buffer. In here is about, 100 pounds worth of explosives.
Ooh. Big
And-
booms.
Big booms, yes. Eli then takes the Desert Eagle out of the... he had it tucked into his pants, and he won a Desert Eagle.
What's that?
It's a human weapon. It is very obnoxious.
I like it already. I like it already.
Alright, that's what I... See, if there's something I can have faith in, it's Chorog liking weapons.
Kara also kind of peeks out from around a big box she's carrying and says, I brought your stuff.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. I could use that to barter.
Say, is John around?
John pokes out from the top of the turret and says,
I'm here.
John, you remember the weird piratey guy from a day or so ago?
Yeah?
Do you think you can find him again?
I go with Bosho. That was his thing.
I'll be honest, I did not catch exactly what that was.
John said, I go find Bosho. That was his thing.
John Car goes, oh, right, sorry. Anyway, yeah, we should probably send them a message that we want to meet up.
Hey!
And he scuttles off.
John Doe, who is sulking in the Argo, just pokes his head out and says, "Wait, we're trying to find them on purpose."
You down here? You could have gone up to the ship.
You could have had anything you ever wanted just made right in front of your eyes. But you stayed and slummed it down here.
Hey, don't rub his nose in it.
John just narrows his eyes and retreats back into the Argo.
Look, if you really don't want to be involved in this, you could just wait in the shuttle.
Or the hostel. We do have a room that way.
He's unresponsive.
Come over to the shuttle. We have a replicator here, too.
Whatever, he's made his choice. Kara loads the box in the back of the Argo.
You want some grapes? We brought grapes.
There is silence.
Well, can't say we didn't try.
And with that, let's go ahead and take a quick 5 to 10 minute break for bio and other things.
And I did wonder about that. We cut to a dark, smoky room, lit by slight blue light. A tall, six-eyed Captain Nethel sits behind a table, waiting. And the door to the room opens, and the silhouette of an insectoid figure is present. And it sort of just steps into the room, revealing a chitinous shell of chrome metal. It moves and looks at him. I take it that you are Captain Nethel?
Oh, you heard right.
I am Vigarin. I represent the speaker.
What's the speaker you want with me?
You were contacted before by a witness. We are looking for the fugitives. We understand that you have seen them.
I've seen them. I've seen a lot of things.
The insect's eyes narrow. I see that you will be difficult. The speaker has asked me to trust you for now. I assume you will contact us when you have found the fugitives. They are not to be harmed.
Captain Nethel never backs down on his contracts. When I find them, I'll bring them to you.
Very good. I will be waiting at the coordinates that have been provided. Without turning around, the figure backs out of the room and the door shuts again. However, a few moments later, there's a knock at the door.
Who's there?
The door opens and there's a Yizzle jazz singer in a red sequin dress. And she holds up an envelope and just says, "There's a message for you. I thought you might like a little personal delivery, sweetheart." She slides the letter across the table to the captain.
Oi, love, you certainly know how to do it right.
She gives him a wink and heads back out of the room. The letter, it looks like, is from the fugitives you're looking for. They want to arrange a meeting.
John has used his best handwriting and crayons.
This. It looks like a child wrote this.
It says, hey, pirate. And it actually says hey that many times. We're going to mall. Come meet us at the mall.
Oh, they want me at the mall, do they? I think
There's
I can
3
arrange
malls in
that.
Haven. There's 3 malls in Haven.
I'll have to have my minute all the malls. Find out which one they're at, and I'll go there.
There's also the piece of paper that Ska gave them that had a tracking device in it. If they're still carrying that piece of paper, it would lead you right to them.
Oh, you, Cracks. Go find Scar.
One of the men nods and runs out of the room. And continuing the afternoon of things happening all at once for Captain Ethel, there's the beep of an incoming transmission.
Captain Ethel picks up his personal communicator. Oi, who's this?
The Harvester sends his regards, Captain Ethel. I trust we can still count on your support.
You have my support.
Very good. The fugitives that we seek might be the key to ending this war against the Speaker. Remember, we offer more than mere wealth. Should the Harvester succeed, you will have something that no one on Trident has had for millennia uncounted. Freedom.
I'll do anything as long as I can separate the Speaker's head from its miserable hide. I want full control of this territory, and you damn well know that.
There's a pause. The Harvester sends an affirmation. Once Trident has been returned to regular space, what's one planet among a galaxy?
I won't like it, my own planet. I'll put the fear Captain Ethel in this place.
And the transmission terminates. And now Captain Ethel has a meeting set up soon with his fugitives, and 2 very competing groups who would like to be told about it.
Captain Ethel sits there thinking to himself, if I could play both sides against the middle, I get them both fighting. They both eliminate one another, and I'll have them both out of my way. I could turn this planet into a pirate's paradise.
Meanwhile, the other crewman has returned with First Mate Ska. You called for me, Captain?
Oh, damn right I called for you. I heard from our little our quad. They're gonna be meeting at. They want me up at the mall. I want you to find out which mall they're gonna be at.
Of course, sir. I will check the tracking device, and if they do not have it, then I will contact my informants. You will be informed of their location within an hour.
I knew I could count on you, Sky. You've never let me down before.
Of course, Captain.
Oh,
He scuttles out of the room.
Ethel says with a swipe of his hand.
Sorry, he says...
Bring me more mud rum.
Ah. A few moments later, a very nervous-looking bartender walks in, sets down the mug, and then backs away quickly.
Captain Ethel chugs the contents. That's what I like it. As soon as we find which mall that Corey's going to be at, the happier I'm going to be.
Meanwhile, elsewhere.
At this point, the crew is basically reconvened first at their base of operations, as in the parking lot closest to the hostel. Whereupon, Ayrton is able to reunite with Pam, and John is able to
Ayrton hasn't left the ship. He's asleep on the med bay.
Oh, I thought Ern came by. Sorry. So, Pim is given a status update on Ern.
Pim is also being held with an arm around his shoulder by Bosho. And Pim looks very much like he'd rather be anywhere else.
John is on the other side of Pim, imitating Bosho's gesture. Except smaller.
Tiny arm, it doesn't go around Pim.
He's just like hugging his the back of his knee.
John Doe is peeking out of the Argo, squinty-eyed at Bosho.
Pim just kind of has this shifty eyes, right, then left at the two tardigrades, and then just kind of looks at the group. So, what now?
Ryuji's sitting across from Pim with his arms crossed, staring him down.
I'm not really feeling the love right now.
John says, okay, so we Bosho and I deliver a message, and we're going to have a meeting at the mall.
Your nods. Right on. Public place. That should, I guess that's the least problematic place we could meet them.
Bosho says there's lots of things at the mall, and it gonna be nice, and we got lots of money. We got some from delivery from Reliant, because I think Checkers is making lots of money.
Oh God! You hear Eli from the passenger seat.
So shopping, we get nice things, get presents.
I suppose we have some time to kill before Captain Ethel shows up.
Yes.
So, I guess where's this mall then?
Oh, it's not far. It's about 2 blocks away. We don't even need to take the Argo if you don't want.
Oh, well, we can... I guess so. 2 blocks isn't far. Won't be an issue for me.
So, anybody looking for anything in particular? She starts walking down the hallway.
I want to know where the guns are at.
I get the feeling, based on what I've learned of Haven, there's probably going to be several gun stores.
I'm just going to look at what unique engineering solutions they've come up with, trying to combine all this different tech together.
That's an interesting question. How about you, Graves? Feeling better to be off the ship?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good right now. He kind of rubs his shoulder, kind of flexes his arms a little. Yeah, feeling really good. What is it, Eli?
Let's keep you away from the electronic stores for no reason at all.
I want to go to the electronic stores, though.
No,
that's where the cool stuff is.
Listen, we're gonna go find some relics and stuff. Antique store, come on.
All right, I'll go with that.
It's a short walk down to the mall, and pretty soon they're through a pair of plate glass doors and looking at a very, very large directory. Kara squints at it. You said antiques?
Yeah, antiques, art, relics, that sort of thing. Just cool stuff, And I think, out of character, I think you know exactly what shop I'm looking for.
Yes.
Yes?
She's like, well, there's this place called Piers Creations. It looks like it has all sorts of strange orders and things. There's also this other one called Amy's Survival Emporium. That kind of sounds like what Checkers might have been looking, or what Chorog might have been looking for. Out of character, Checkers is looking for any deal.
Checkers is looking for new burrito juice markets. There will be none to find here.
Not until he finds the tardigrades, anyway. Kara looks back at the group. So, where are we going first?
Oh, let's check out the first one you mentioned. At least me and Graves can go there. Are we splitting up? Ensetsa. And then Ryuji also looks over, and he's sticking near Graves. He's on bodyguard duty for Graves.
Okay, well, Trog, you want to go with me over to Amy's Survival Emporium?
Sure.
Okay, so we'll meet back here in a little while, and, I don't know. If I remember seeing Captain Ethel, we'll see him when he shows up.
Okay. At some point I was going to say we might go over to that store too, but yeah. Bosho, who are you sticking with? You sticking with your other charge?
Bosho says, I'm sticking with my friend Pim.
Okay, and are you going to take Pim with the other group?
They'll have a walk.
Okay.
Pim just in a very forced, cheerful voice. Joy.
They go and go get some ice cream.
Whether Pim wants it or not.
Rick sort of goes off initially with them, grabs an ice cream, but then sort of just starts to wander around, see if anything sort of grabs his fancy technological wise.
Well, we'll go ahead and start with most of the main group heading to the shop known as Pierre's Creations.
Hold on a second. Daniel, Arcane, who you going with?
Oh, Goro is heading over to a small meat market where he grabs a few small choices of meat and comes back. Hey, I brought some treats for your desert eagles. I haven't seen them, but where are they anyways?
Eli takes it out of the back of his pants and shows off the gun.
Wait, they're guns?
Yeah.
I thought we were practicing falconry.
No. Well, not today. I don't know the falcon. Checkers might. Or he might just practice falconry with bees. I don't know. What kind of meat you got there, though?
It's some sort of rodent, I think.
Ah.
Oh well, more for me.
Yeah. So, hey, you gotta come with us to the antique store, you gotta go to the survival store. I think we're gonna hit the survival store either way, but, antiques first, or...
Sure, antique sounds fun, and Goro starts, downing at the small pieces of rodent.
And Daniel?
Daniel doesn't really have anything in particular he's looking for, so he's planning to just tag along and look at the different, the different mechanical stuff mixed together as well. Unless Moo decides to unless Moo
Moo is with Yargo.
What?
Moo is with Yargo. He does not generally follow the group outside.
Okay, never mind. So yeah, Daniel's just following along, looking at the tech and stuff.
And what's John Doe gonna do?
John Doe, not wanting to be left in the car because he knows there's pirates about, and you don't want to be left alone in the car. He is reluctantly following a safe distance behind Bosho, because as much as he hates to admit it, that's probably the safest place in this building.
Amazing.
Anyway, so we'll just say that the group has to pass by Pierre's Creations first, so just in case Chorog decides to hang out there for a bit. But they pass by a store with large plate glass windows trimmed in gold. And through the windows are all manner of things. Small statues, relics from past ages, artwork, strange weapons. All the little things on display have just a small little card in front describing what they are and the history behind them. In the middle of the shop, behind all of the various odds and ends, and behind a case full of exquisite-looking jewelry, sits a very elderly Yizzle, with an eyepiece on, and all but one eye closed, delicately repairing the tracery on a circuit board. There is no noise as the group moves in, not even the ding of a bell.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, this place looks neat. There's assorted things here.
Car just looks around. You wanted antiques? You got antiques.
Yes, definitely fascinating. Let's take a look.
Graves slips aside and goes to see if there's any electronics there.
There is a wide variety of electronics. Is there something specific that you're looking for?
That's a good question. He's looking for anything, in the maybe a little bit shooty, maybe a little bit pokey with blue metallics, or just anything that looks particularly weird.
Well, in the corner, there's what appears to be a long metal pole leaning against the wall in the corner. There's a small card talking about it nearby.
Graves checks out the card.
It reads, Energy Projector Lance. Source unknown. Repaired by Pim. Estimated age of 4,700 years. Weaponry is in good condition. Shaft has some wear. It talks a little bit more about where it was found and in what condition it was in. And then down at the bottom, it just has a price.
Graves checks the price.
It is not cheap.
Graves accepts the not cheapness and decides this is his thing.
When you pick it up, you can determine that there are several buttons on the haft. Pressing one of them causes a variety of different blade types to spring out from the top. Another one seems to open the end in sort of a projector mode, where it could be used to fire energy blasts.
Graves is careful not to fire it, and he kind of just pulls the lance and carries it around with him. It's his. It feels perfect.
Is anybody else looking for anything in particular in the shop? Art, weaponry, weird stuff?
So, of course, is looking for weird stuff as well. Although she's also looking through anything that looks like an intricate, bit of jewelry, souvenir type thing.
Trog's digging through some odds and ends, looking for any kind of bits of weaponry he can adapt.
Okay, so one at a time. First off, Setsa finds in the corner, on a mannequin head, a very unusual woven hat. Looks like it's designed for cold weather.
It's closely inspecting the hat. She's curious about the hat. Her tail is wagging.
The card states that the hat comes from traditional Yizzle weavers in Vorti, and has been created according to old traditional methods. It's especially warm for use in the winter, and it also has sound dampening properties from the ear flaps, thanks to the material it's been made with.
That's is entranced by the hat. She checks the price.
It's not very much.
It's a squeeze, and takes the hat.
Shorog, you find yourself near the back of the store. In addition to sort of a junk bin of various different parts, there's a massive wall of various different weapons, from ancient melee blades to powder-driven pistols to energy projectors of perhaps even greater than Starfleet technology. There are so many different things. Are you looking for anything more specific?
Trog's looking for just enhancements to add to either the weapon on the Argo or his own personal armaments.
You find off in the corner there is a small cabinet full of various different attachments for various weapons. Some of the first ones that you find are relatively easy. You find some enhanced muzzle brakes and field inhibitors that can be used on the Yizzle Gauss rifles to increase the destructive capacity. One of them even claims that you could turn down the destructive capacity and fire non-lethal rounds. There's a variety of different pieces that it looks like could be used to upgrade a disruptor, although none of them are from technology sources you're familiar with, although you do understand the general workings of them.
Let's see. This one turns a bolt rifle into a full auto, and that could be useful. Ooh, look at this. I've never seen a scope like this before.
Kara's looking over his shoulder. Yeah, it looks like they have some of the stuff that fits these Yizzle rifles, too. I'm gonna go grab a couple pieces.
Yeah, don't take them all. I want to take a look at them, too, because I have a maglev that I really want to upgrade.
You could go ask the old guy in the middle. He might have more in the back.
And the proprietor that. Okay. Excuse me. Do you have any parts for a maglev?
The Yizzle slowly stops what he's doing and sits down the circuit board, removes the eyepiece, and looks up at Chorog with all four of his red eyes and simply says, "What make and model?"
Chorog swings the rifle from under his coat. This thing, I acquired it in unusual circumstances, and to me it feels a little underpowered. I want to upgrade it.
The Yizzle blinks and then smiles at him and says, "Considering you want something to enhance the strength of an anti-tank weapon, you must be quite the individual. I believe I have something that might be able to work." And he stands up and he reaches over into a cabinet near his work area, and pulls out what looks like an accelerator barrel for it. And he says, I can have this fitted to it, but it will take me a little while. First, I'll have to repair and tune the barrel, and then add it to the rifle. But I think if you give me just a little time with it, I can increase its destructive power by at least, 3 times.
Chorog hands over the weapon. Take all the time you need.
Very good. And he spends a moment with Chorog, basically setting out the contract and payment. Meanwhile, we move over to Grawl, who is looking for anything connected to the Preservers or the Voth. Just behind one of the main windows, he finds a very interesting and very old tapestry, which seems to show a variety of humanoid races at the bottom, all looking up to a robed figure with somewhat indistinct, smoothed features.
Ro examines the the tapestry and tries to scan it with his Spock helmet to see if it's genuine.
Well, whether or not it's genuine might be a question that's difficult to answer, because you'd have to know whether it was a genuine what. Whatever it is, it's definitely very old. The card nearby doesn't have a lot of information on it, simply saying that it was an old tapestry found in a World Tech ruin. Might be from some of the first settlers of Trident, although no one's exactly sure. It seems to show a variety of younger races paying respects to some sort of progenitor race.
Hey, Eli, you might want to look at this.
Huh? All right, coming over. I'm just looking for other... Yeah, let's see what this is. Eli says coming over.
And once again, it looks like a variety of races from the Alpha Quadrant, and center seems to be what would look like a preserver.
Fascinating. How would they know that we turned out to look like this, though?
I
Like
think-
that one's a Klingon, I think. Tell by the ridges.
And over there's an Andorian.
They seeded the worlds millions of years ago, yet still sort of assumed what we would come out like pretty accurately, I might add.
I think we should purchase this for historical purposes.
Belongs in a museum, yes.
It's not terribly expensive. Meanwhile, we look over to Ryuji, who has been searching for different things, and he passes by a daisho, a set of 2 swords, a katana and a wakizashi, sitting on a stand. It's old and worn and made of teak. The blades are sharp, but there are a few nicks in them that indicate heavy use.
Huh. He scratches his chin.
Also nearby is what looks to be a very old compound bow, covered with a variety of intricate carvings. It looks like it comes from almost the same culture.
Reminds me of home, doesn't it? He looks at his old bow, which is close to falling apart, shrugs, and snaps it over his knee. I'll take this one.
As he does that, the proprietor, who you assume is Pierre, does look up and over and says, okay.
He snapped the old one over his knee, not the new one.
I know, but that still got his attention, because why would someone break a perfectly good bow?
It was almost broken anyway.
In his mind. But, there's a card saying where the bow was found and a little bit about its history. It's been cared for and restored. Let's see, Rick Tier is looking for a weird technology. Near the front of the store, at the bottom of a shelf, you find a small, rectangular-looking box covered in strange glyphs. The card next to it simply identifies it as a shaper.
Oh no.
What have you done?
So Frick has no context for this. So he's just going to pull out his tricorder and do a bit of a scan on it.
Go ahead and give me a control, or not control, give me a reason engineering.
Okay. My best stats combination.
2 successes. You get an idea that this device projects some sort of morphogenic matrix But whatever technology is driving it is far beyond what the Federation is currently capable of. The card next to it simply states that this device is one of many that has been available for consumer use at various points throughout Trident's history, usually good points at which high technology has been acquired by the planet. The device says that it is capable of rearranging the physical form of the user into another form of their desire.
Oh, so this is, that certainly makes sense. To the morphogenic field will definitely allow someone to reshape their form to. This is essentially a chameleon circuit to aid in infiltrations. Wow, okay. And
Apes pops over and says, "Hey, what you got there?"
this is a shaper. It projects a morphogenic field.
Interesting.
Basically,
He kind of blinks, not quite getting the reference.
it essentially allows the person who uses it to change their physical appearance, like change their body.
Kara steps over holding, several rifle attachments and says, "So it basically turns you into a founder?"
Yes, essentially, yes.
Okay, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. He looks at he looks at his lands, looks at the Jaber, and is like, "I think I'm tapped out for budget." Setsa? Setsa comes over wearing the woolly hat.
Yeah? What's up?
Kara quickly explains what the thing does to her.
Oh, cool. Yeah, if we can get that, it kind of counts as a pretty high point for tech we can study.
Yeah,
This will definitely at least allow us to study the process of how founders shift their form and identify countermeasures and ways to detect it.
well, if nothing else, we can see also if the guy here takes any form of barter. She looks around the shop. This does look like the sort of place where almost anything ends up.
All right, then. Rick here will start to ask what checks the price on it.
It's a lot, but not as much as the conclave lance that Graves found. It looks like that even though this is high technology, it's not something that's particularly old or particularly artistic, and so the cost mostly just comes from it being a complicated piece of tech.
Graves looks to his lands, looks at Setsa, and is like, hold this, I'll help Rook with this.
Meanwhile, Daniel is looking for any weird or oddball technology. He happens upon a small scanner device. It seems to have a small inset screen, and it looks like it can scan the area around it to briefly show a picture. The card states that it is a chronological observation device. The card is full of a great deal of technobabble. Daniel, can I get a reason science roll?
Would a focus in space-time apply?
Yes, it would. 2 successes. This device takes into account chronoton radiation left around an area and reconstructs past events, up to an hour in the past. Put simply, scanning an area with this device would enable you to look into the past and see what has happened within the past hour.
I guess Daniel will check the price.
It's relatively cheap. Despite being interesting technologically, its uses are limited.
Daniel will walk over and meet up with the group holding this, with plans to tinker with it in the future, but for now, just kinda yeah.
As the group starts to reconvene near the counter where Pym is working on Chorog's rifle, they also see John Doe wearing a thick, full-face helmet.
John Doe is talking to the shopkeeper, and he's as they approach, as you guys approach, you hear him saying, nothing short of a siege weapon, you say?
I dare say that helmet could almost take a hit from a ship-class laser. Granted, I don't have the rest of the set of armor, but the helmet itself is quite interesting.
John just turns to the group, and you can't really see, I guess wearing the helmet, you can't really see his face, but you get the impression that he's giving you puppy dog eyes.
That's it says.
Oh, of course we'll get it for you. Don't worry.
I guess John just turns back to the shopkeep and nods.
So as the group gets ready to pay for their
Hold on.
purchases...
Eli had something.
Eli passes by that sword from earlier, and he must have it. Today show.
It's actually not that expensive compared to what you're saying. You get the feeling that one of the main reasons is that the card is very short. It describes the object, but next to history it simply says, unknown.
This shall be mine. It is this sword, by the way. Smile.
Hee.
As the group is, setting up, to pay for their stuff, the first one to get his item back is Chorog, who has been handed a rifle with a much larger bore and a much heavier barrel. There's also now an attached scope and a variety of control mechanisms on the side. Pierre takes a moment and explains what each of them does. Most of them can increase the power or mass of the projectile. A few of them can also add certain wavelengths of energy to the shot, enabling it to more easily pierce shields.
How much armor pen can I expect out of this now?
This should put a golf ball-sized hole through, well, the city.
Like that.
Do be careful with it. At the very least, make sure it's not going to intersect with my shop when you fire. And Chorog finishes paying, and the rifle is slid back to him, and the group lines up and checks out their various purchases.
Abe looks over to Eli, and it says, "Oh, yeah, nice sword."
Eli is staring intently at the sword. Now he's actually holding the main one, not the one that goes with it, just the main sword. He just says, "This thing has been traveling 800 years just to be in my hands right now." And he just seems like he's off. He's in a trance almost.
It chuckles and says, "Yeah, I kind of get the feeling here." He shows him the conclave lance, helped by Setsu while he's helping Rick move the shaper.
Pierre looks over at the lance. Now that is an interesting item. I don't suppose you happen to know any more about it?
Graves kind of blinks and says, "It's T-47 conclave lance used in the First Wars."
Kara looks at Graves. What?
Graves blinks, "What?"
How did... Are you just bullshitting, or do you actually know that?
It felt like the thing to say.
Pierce, looks over at Marcus. Interesting. Very interesting.
Eli's still in a trance holding the sword. He doesn't notice Graves having his, I'm not even sure what to call it.
Oh, yeah, definitely gonna pick it up, though.
Pierre reaches under the counter and pulls something else out. It looks like a few scraps of armor plating, roughly connected. And he sets it down and says, "Does this seem familiar to you at all?"
Armor. Definitely feels like it's, missing quite a lot, but it's reasonably intact.
It's the most I have been able to put together of a gauntlet type thing. It's a relic that sometimes is found within the more ancient areas of Trident. The script across the side is particularly of interest to me. No one has been able to translate it.
Graves takes a look at it and it's like, I don't know. It's feeling a little bit fuzzier now. I think, not sure. It's like top or Apex? I don't know.
Apex. Pierre pulls out a notebook and starts writing some things down. And he simply looks up at Graves with two of his eyes, while two others remain on the paper, and he says, "You can have it, for the information."
Thanks.
He then checks out the Shaper, Kara's gun items, the swords, the hat,
So he's very pleased with the hat.
and the tapestry. And he looks over that and says, "Ah, yes. Would you believe that this one is interesting because despite it being so old, it only arrived on Trident recently?
How recently?
I would say within the last 100 years. You can tell," and he pulls out a scanner and he sets it across, the tapestry and says, "Trident has a very unique radiation signature. It suffuses everything. Now, obviously you can use standard procedures to determine how old something is. But with scanners like these, you can also determine when something came to Trident. And so," he gestures to the display, "you can see here that despite the age of the tapestry being several thousand years, in very good condition I might add, it only came to Trident within the last 100.
Who brought it in?
I don't know. All I know is the title of the piece."
And that title is?
Two eyes from the side of his head look over at Graves while the other two remain on Grawl. It's titled simply Apex.
Interesting.
Isn't
Very
it?
interesting.
He sits down. "Anyway, I'm glad to have been of service. If you need anything else, from repair work to custom items, I can help you. Just remember to visit Old Pier if there is anything you need."
There's Nod says, very good. Yeah, thanks for all your help.
You're quite welcome. And so saying, he picks up the circuit board again, reattaches the eyepiece, and goes back to his repairs.
Here's
Kara,
a friend
meanwhile, is
says-
still giving Graves the old hairy eyeball.
Graves, he slips on the gauntlet. One hand kind of flexes his hand a little bit. Gauntlet, despite being old, and it seems to just slip on pretty well.
Right. At this point, there's just a slight voice behind Graves that only he can hear that simply says, "Ah, the lovely thing about answers, isn't it? They only raise more questions.
Graves
Do
says,
enjoy your learning experience. I know I will enjoy watching it."
Graves just has an internal smirk, which, on reflection, he doesn't quite know where it's coming from.
Anyway, do take care of your little Ibby friend. When all is said and done, who knows how many of you will be coming home?
That, there's just, this steel, actually, here. Eli.
Eli's still in a trance.
Ah.
No one's trying to break him out of it, so...
Oh, okay, this might break him out of it. Give me an empathy roll.
Alright, what's that again?
I would say either command or medicine with presence.
Well, both were the same for command and medicine, so...
Whoa. 3 successes.
3 successes, Jesus.
So, one point that we've made is that it is extremely difficult to pick up telepathic or empathic readings. However, in that isolation that Eli's been in, he suddenly feels a presence and has just this firm hold and icy resolve.
Another one.
It's the kind of attitude to slay gods with, is the overall effect.
Eli looks around for this. Where is it emanating from?
Kind of in the direction of Graves. Hard to tell.
At this, the voice returns to Graves and simply says, "Oh dear, perhaps I've said too much.
Eli unsheathes the sword.
What?
Carl
Greg
looks
looks
over.
around.
Whoa! What the hell?
Not fully. Just like the first little knock, you know.
It just okay. So no one. It's hard to notice,
Yeah, it's
or other
the
people.
Okay.
it's the that I played that game.
Yeah.
It's that.
Just the bink. With that, it just sort of the feeling just melts away, and of just like a tide going out. What you're left with is just sort of the kind of the blank static you've been feeling from your empathic reads.
At this point, there's a voice kind of behind Eli that simply says one quick sentence and simply says, "Sorry, I didn't mean to rile him up."
You mean me? You're riling me up now.
Kara looks over at Eli. What? Who? Huh? What?
Listen, it's don't worry about it.
Right. She goes back to attaching the scope to her rifle.
That's a gives a thumbs up as the group proceeds over to Amy's Survival Emporium to check out what's going on with the rest of the group.
Eli mutters, the first one, then that one, huh?
Rick's just sort of engrossed in the shifter, just sort of like, just like examining it intensely, and has no idea what was going on with Eli or Graves or any of that.
As for Amy's Survival Emporium, this is a very interesting store, which I'll just cover quickly since we're getting on in the night. This store is basically a sort of outdoors store of everything you could imagine. The back row is covered with a variety of civilian legal weapons of strange and unusual make. There are camping supplies, guidebooks to Trident, history books, and a variety of tech you've never seen before. Just to give a quick example, Rick, you pass by a small triangular emitter device that simply states that it is a hard light tent. By pressing a button on the side of this triangular device, it will spring to life a large force field inside of which is an enclosed, environmentally controlled environment. The outside edges of the tent can be rendered opaque or transparent, and it will last for up to 8 hours on a single charge.
So, we've got highlight. Do we have highlight technology, or is this new for us?
We have hardly the EMH.
Yeah, but yeah, true.
It's-
Fair enough.
It's a relatively, shall we say, novel use of it. It's not particularly ahead of what the Federation could do. In fact, it's probably behind a little bit. But it is an interesting idea that you're not sure you've seen on Federation Awake team kits. It looks like the sort of thing that would be great for an emergency kit that you could stash in a very small pouch.
Might actually see if I can duplicate the design and make that available for future Reliant away team missions.
Meanwhile, Chorog, across the back is a wide variety of slug-throwing weapons. Most of them appear to fire large amounts of pellets, although there is what is also labeled as a knock gun, which seems to have 7 barrels, 1 in the middle and 6 are surrounding it. It looks like a single trigger pull triggers the entire assembly of 7 barrels at once.
Trog had seen interesting weapons like this, but from Earth's past. It's basically a crowd control type of weapon. Trog took it off the rack and began examining it. I wonder just how much damage this thing will do.
It looks like it's basically an old chemical propellant weapon. It's not black powder, it's much more advanced. But it looks like it's being sold as a type of bird hunting rifle. And the blurb on the side simply says, "Tired of missing your shots? Make sure you get them this time."
I see. With a tagline like that, I can't help but want it.
Gar chuckles and simply says, "Go for it. We've still got some cash left. Plus you have those weapon parts. Although really, you probably should have offered those to Pier now that I think about it."
Trog picks up his somewhat large crate full of old weapon odds and ends, puts it on the counter and says, "I'd like to barter what's in this box for this."
As you go up to the counter, you notice that you don't see anything that you recognize as a humanoid creature or anything else behind the counter. In fact, all that's behind the counter seems to be a large plant-like pod. Although it does have, it looks like a sticky name tag across part of it that reads hastily scrawled, Amy. As you set the box up, it extends a pair of tubules out and starts waving them. Grawl, you recognize this type of alien. It's one of Friend's species.
Squirrel begins the dance of greeting.
With Grawl now acting as an interpreter, Chorog, you are able to talk to Amy and barter for the gun in exchange for the goods.
I'd say that's a successful sale. Now I gotta figure out how to use this thing. Not so much figure out how to use it, what to use it on.
Rather than the one from, the shelf, the display model, she actually, uses her tubules to reach into the bag and pulls out a large boxed version for you. Comes with a carrying case, care manual, several rounds of ammunition. It's quite professionally put together.
Frog nods to the Amy and gathers up his box and happily leaves the store, having gathered a new weapon of mass destruction.
Okay, first off, I'm just going to say out of character, I love the phrase of nods to the Amy. And as the group exits the store, they see a familiar crustacean-like figure.
Actually, first,
Oh, go ahead.
Osho is going to go shopping for something. He steps in with John and Pam. Kind of leaves Pam by the door. First time he's going to detach himself. And goes looking for a short sword.
At which store is this that he's doing this?
Let's go ahead and make it. Let's just go ahead and make it Pierce.
Near the back of the store, obviously, is where most of the weapons are kept, and there is a rack of different blades. And in fact, there are so many that some of the more common and less interesting blades are kept in what looks like an umbrella stand near the corner.
Bosho looks through the umbrella stand for the sturdiest, the most well-balanced blade of the bunch.
It doesn't take terribly long before you find a sword of, if not exceptional class, at least exceptional quality. Though simply made, it is extremely well balanced, made of good metal, and it looks like it would serve very well. It's not particularly ornamented in any way, but it will do.
He takes it over to the counter. Abe said Pierre. Hello.
Ah. Hello, most exalted one. What may old Pierre do for you?
I need this.
Of course. It is yours, exalted one. I would take no coin from you.
He does a ceremonial bow and a little bit of a hand gesture of the old tardigrade realm, and looks over to John and says, Here, this is for you. John looks at the sword, looks to Bosho, and gingerly takes the sword and says, Thank you.
Tim just kind of yells from the door, You're not going to use that on me, are you?
No. This is
Okay.
not for friend stabbing.
There's a blink. A pause. Wait, you have a special sword for friend stabbing?
It is called the hug. And Bosho totters over and hugs Pim.
I think I should feel reassured by this, and yet...
John is staring at a sword, and Odson takes the scabbard that comes with it and slings it over his back and goes along with his sensei.
I guess I should check at this point. We're getting on in the night, but is there any more shopping that anyone wants to do?
I gotta get
I'm
to
good.
bed soon.
Let's
Okay.
look through the cybernetic store.
You know what?
Next time.
As the group leaves, their respective stores and meets back up, they see a familiar crustacean-like scuttling figure come into view. Ah, there you are. Captain Nethel is waiting. This way, if you please. And he bows and gestures for the group to head off in a certain direction, and I believe that's where we'll end for the night.
The narrator told
There's
me
one-
cybernetic store next time, so I'm not going.
Daniel tries to sneak away, and when we're asked to follow, but then Bosho just kind of casually grabs his the collar of his jacket and drags him behind.
John Doe just is following along, resignedly saying, "Yeah, you can't get away from him. Don't try."
Wait, what? Oh no, I'm saying John was the one who's trying to sneak away.
Oh, I thought you said DB. Sorry.
No.
Eli's gone back into his trance, by the way.
Right.
I
so-
might have said Daniel,
One-
but I meant to say John. Sorry if I did.
Yeah, I've got one thing for Kieran before we end.
Sure, go for it.
Kieran finds that the departure of Graves, the AI has left. But in one of the buffers, something's been left behind.
Kieran is at this point carefully isolating it and then trying to figure out exactly what has been left on the ship.
It's just a scrap of data, a little bit of a fragment printed by the AI, just perhaps unintentionally. Just kind of left in this passing. And it's, you run it through the universal translator, it's just a few bytes of data. You're able to pick out a fragmentary message, or a fragmentary bit of text.
What is this text?
It says, "We stand at the gates of eternity, watching our lords high above. They sneer at our lamentations, unfeeling in their devotion. What we hold dear is but fodder. We lose everything to the pathologic need to linger. Trident is a prison, says its life salvation."
Kieran sets the data aside and simply says, "I should tell Captain O'Connor about this."
With that, and for the night, thank you so much for joining us. Our email is reliant@starbcgc.com if you want to get in contact, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye, y'all. Bye-bye.
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 No idea what's happening next session. Could be a lot of talking, could be a lot of shooting. We'll find out.
Sayonara.
We negotiate while we're shooting.